SRH Recap presented by the Hollywood movie Helgoland 513, 2024. So friends, let's start the movie explanation. Friends, the story begins by showing a small island of Germany named Helgoland where 513 people were living their lives because a dangerous virus had spread all over the world, due to which many people died and the survivors became zombies. To escape from these zombies, these people came to Helgoland Island, and here gradually these 513 people formed their own society and started living their life by doing farming etc. But there was very little food and drink. Therefore, only 513 people could live on this island, and if even a single member had increased here, then these people would have faced a lot of problems. Therefore, whenever a child was born on this island, through voting, that person was selected who could sacrifice his life so that the population of the people on the island could remain under control. Now we see some points written in front of the names of all the survivors on a board, which they get when they do some good work, and in this way their name keeps moving up, but if a person does something wrong then his name goes down. There is also a council committee to manage the people of this island, whose superior is a lady named Beatrice. After this we are shown the story 15 years ahead, where people of the entire city have gathered in a hospital because today a girl named Emily is going to give birth to her child. A reporter named Lola was recording this entire scene on her camera. Now according to the rule, when a child is born, another person has to sacrifice his life. So Emily's father decides to take his own life and jumps off a cliff. They're in the hospital. After giving birth to one child, Emily is bringing another child into this world because she has given birth to twins. Seeing this, Beatrice once again holds a council committee meeting and talks to everyone about this. After thinking for a long time, these people decide to vote so that through voting it can be known which person has to be sacrificed. Now on the other side we see two friends named Christian and Henrik who are looking at their ranking on the board. Christian was ranked number 511. Seeing this, he becomes very upset and tells Henrik that if I am chosen to be killed, I will not give up my life. But Henrik warns him that last time a man tried to escape in this way, but these people forcibly imprisoned him in a cage and threw him into the sea. Next we see an elderly lady named Elise at number 512. Who was quite old now. That's why everyone considered him completely useless. At the same time, the name of the person at the last position, i.e. 513 rank, was Atn, who is a worker, and everyone declared him a criminal. The scene then shifts to Merrick and his son Linus. Both of them were trying to make a vaccine for the same virus in a lab. On the other hand, we see a lady named Jaded who was one of the authorities here. After a while she goes with Mark to distribute medicine to everyone in T. And when both of them reach Etienne's house, Etienne's wife Lisa Jade gets angry after seeing them and tells him that because of him a hard-working person like Etienne has come last in the list, and so as a punishment he gets less ration. Hearing this, Jade replies that Etienne has stolen the medicine and therefore he is considered a criminal. But Lisa tries to explain to him that he was just stealing the medicine for me, because the doctor refused to give him medicine. The scene then shifts to Emily, who is sleeping in her room. Then Alice comes here and silently picks up her child and starts taking him with her. But then Emily's eyes open and she quickly snatches her child from her because she felt that Elise wants to harm her baby for the sake of voting. But she tells him that I will never do this. Here Merrick hides the medicine from his lab and gives it to a lady named Laure. But Judy sees him doing all this. So she quickly goes to Beatrice at the supermarket and tells her what Merrick did. But Beatrice tells him not to tell this to anyone because we need Merrick right now. But one day we will definitely punish him, and after that I will give you his place. Christian and Heinrich are also listening to all this conversation between the two of them when suddenly a child falls here and all his things get broken. Seeing this, Henrik gets an idea and tells Christian that this is the best chance to move up the ranks. You should quickly go and help that child so that you can rise in the eyes of people. Following Henrik's advice, Christian does the same and gives his food to the boy. When Beatrice sees them doing this, she feels very happy. So she announces extra points for Henrik and Christian. Then Henrik's attention falls on HTN and Lisa, who had come to a store. Henry knew very well that Lisa was getting very little ration. So he goes to them and tells them that if you want, I can give you food. Lisa refuses to do this, but Beatrice, standing behind, hears their conversation and she gets very angry at Hendrik. Here we learn that Hendrik is actually Beatrice's son. After this, we see a patient named Peter in Merrick's lab, who was forcibly brought here from the outside world for experimentation, and different vaccines were being experimented on him. On the other hand, Heinrich goes to Lisa and offers her some food and asks her to be intimate in return, but she refuses. But Hendrik still starts moving toward him. Then suddenly Siren escapes and he has to leave Lisa and run towards the border because he is a soldier. Here we see some people trying to enter the island, whom the soldiers' leader Mion asks to return. But they don't listen to him and start cutting the barrier. And seeing this, Mion shoots a man and then everyone starts going back. But Heinrich shoots them all one by one just for the fun of it. Now the voting day comes and everyone votes against Etienne. That means now he will have to give up his life. But Lisa did not want this at all. So she tells everyone sitting in the hall that my husband is innocent. He was just bringing medicines for me. She also reveals that she voted to kill Hein because he had offered to be intimate with Lisa in exchange for food. Hearing this, all the ladies present in the hall start speaking against Heinrich. Therefore, Beatrice is forced to remove Hendrik from the island against her wishes. After this the scene shifts to the lab, where Peter had now died due to excessive experimentation. Seeing this, Merrick feels very bad and after burning the dead body, he returns to his home. Here his son Linus asks him to go to the mainland, i.e. the outside world, with Mion's team. But Merrick refuses to do this. But Linus does not listen to him and the next day he goes to their boat with some soldiers wearing a biosuit. Now Hendrik was also with them, whom they were going to leave outside as a punishment, and after some time they also reach the mainland. After which a soldier tells Hand and Rich to get off the boat and go down. But he was not ready to do that. Seeing this, a soldier named Hans gets angry and punches him hard because Hendrik had also done wrong to his sister, and then he quickly runs away from there. Elsewhere on the island, Beatrice goes with one of her employees to meet the chief engineer of the water supplier because the water meter has broken down. While Beatrice is talking to the engineer, her employee notices a radio and is a little surprised to see it, as it was illegal to keep a radio on the island. Now after repairing the meter, the chief requests Beatrice to bring his wife also to the island. But she refuses. Here all the soldiers ask the lines to wait on the board and go out to roam around the city, where they meet a man named Earl. These soldiers give him some food items and in return Earl gives them 2 big boxes and some medicines. On the other hand, Leonis was waiting for all these soldiers on the board. But when they do not come even after some time, he gets down from the boat and goes for a walk around, where he meets a man named Mudjik. He gives Linus a bottle of medicine and says that he has a ship that has a lot of such medicines. If you want to drink these, I can give them to you. Hearing this, Linus goes with Mudjik to his ship, where Mudjik shows him a lot of medicines. But he puts a condition before Linus and tells him that in return for these, you will have to take me and my friends to your island. After which many people come out of the boat. Seeing this, Linus immediately runs away from here without wasting any time. Here all these soldiers are coming towards the boat when suddenly a man comes and attacks a soldier. But at the right time the other soldiers shoot him and kill him and somehow reach the boat. But Linnaeus is not present here. Before they can find him, a lot of citizens start coming towards them. Due to which these people start leaving from here immediately without taking the lines. But hearing the sound of the boat, Linus quickly comes out of the ship and jumps onto the running boat. But Mudjik also follows him and tries to board the boat. But the soldiers shoot him and kill him, and then their attention goes to Linus's suit, which has been torn. Seeing his torn suit, the soldiers suspect that he might have been infected. So they make him unconscious by giving him an injection, and after bringing him back to the island, they quarantine him in the lab. After this Merrick comes here to meet his son. Linus then shows him the medicine given to him by Mudjik and tells him everything that happened on the ship. Hearing this, Merrick quickly tests the medicine and finds out that it is the real vaccine. So he goes to Beatrice and asks her to send her soldiers to the ship again so that as much medicine as possible can be brought here. But Beatrice refuses to do this because she had suffered huge losses in the previous trip. Here we see the Earl's guards on the mainland, where they find Mudjik's dead body in the water and they also find a medicine bottle in his hand. After seeing this, the Earl orders his guards to find more such medicines. On the other hand, we see Heinrich, who is wandering around the city. Then on the way he sees a lady named Velma who used to help people by giving them something or the O. Henrik approaches her and flirts with her, and Velma is pleased and hires him as her assistant. Velma then takes Henrik to a theater that was actually her home. After this she begins to repeatedly take the Earl's name in front of Henrik, to which he asks her about the Earl. But Velma doesn't tell him anything. As the night progresses, Henrik takes the opportunity to kill Velma and flees with all of her belongings. On the other hand, Beatrice goes to meet Lisa and offers her a job, saying that if you provide me with all the information about this city, in return I can give you and your husband a good life. Hearing this, Lisa becomes very happy and agrees to take up the job. But actually it was just a plan of Beatrice. Here in the lab, Judith is put to work in place of Linus, and when she opens the 2 large boxes given to her by Al, she finds a man and a lady imprisoned in them. on whom now Mar was going to experiment with a vaccine. Before he can do anything, a soldier dies in the lab and red marks appear all over his body. That means he was infected with the virus. When Linus looks at his body, he sees similar marks and gets very scared. But he doesn't tell anyone about it. We then see a council meeting where Beatrice blames Mion for the patient's death, saying that he did not protect his team properly. Due to this, the soldier got infected. So Beatrice deducts 100 of his points and he is sent to prison to work as punishment. Then Lola's daughter Fiona, who was present in the same hall, suddenly starts coughing. Seeing this, everyone thinks that maybe she too has been infected with the virus. That's why everyone runs away from here. But actually Fiona was pregnant. But he was not married yet. Therefore, her child will be considered illegal. Because of this fear, she goes to her boyfriend Tom. But Tom promises her that he will take care of her and her unborn child. After which we are shown a lab scene, where due to the experiment, the condition of both the patients was getting worse, and seeing the mark tells Jadis that we don't have much time. Therefore, we have to make the vaccine as soon as possible. Here on the island, Alb meets the people of Mosaic and shows them his body and tells them that he was killed by the people of the island. If you tell me about the medicine, I will help you all to stay alive. Hearing this, a man named Spark comes forward and tells Earl that I am ready to help you. But in return you will have to take me to the island. After some thought, the Earl agrees to this. On the other hand, Mar goes to meet Mion in a jail and tells him that I can get your jail sentence reduced. But in return I want you to go to the mainland and get the vaccine from that chip. But Mion refuses to do this work. We next see Heinrich, who is captured by a gang of cannibals on the mainland. But to save his life, Heinrich lies and says that he works for the Earl. Hearing this, the cannibal gang takes him to meet Al. But the Earl didn't even know him. So just as he is about to kill Heinrich, he screams loudly and says that I am Beatrice's son and I have come here by mistake. He then informs Earl about Velma's death, saying that she was killed by the virus. But Earl already knew the truth, so he tells Hank that he was kicked off the island and that Velma's death was caused by him and not the virus. You have taken his life. Hearing this, Henrik started sweating because he understood that something very bad was going to happen to him. So to save his life, he tells the Earl about all the secrets and doors of the island. Pleased with this, he cancels his intention of killing Henrik. Now we see a council meeting where Kasu, the wife of the water supplier's engineer, is interviewed. Because he had a lot of knowledge about medicines. But then the committee members come to know that another candidate named Janella has also applied for the interview. Janella is actually a surgeon, so the committee members select Janella instead of Kaso and she is then called to the island. But two people from another gang secretly come into his ship. Here the engineer feels very bad seeing his wife not getting selected. So he decides to go to the mainland. But Beatrice refuses to let him do so because he was the only engineer on the entire island who could fix the water system. On the other hand, Upshin gets a new job at the windmill with Beatrice's, where while working he finds a bottle of liquor which he gives to his boss. After which the boss drinks all the liquor in that bottle and goes to work in an intoxicated state. Meanwhile the engineer also arrives here with a hammer in his hand and in anger starts breaking all the machines of the windmill. Seeing this, the boss quickly tries to go up the stairs to stop him. But then his foot slips and his leg breaks. After which he is brought to the hospital for treatment and then Merrick performs his surgery. But during the surgery, when he looks at Daniela, he sees that she is very nervous. That's why he asks the reason for this. Daniela then tells him that she is not a surgeon. He had just read all this in books. She also tells Merrick that she knows Linus is infected and so she wants to help him. But Merrick should not tell the truth to anyone. Before Merrick could say anything, Jadine had heard the entire conversation between the two. So she tells Merrick that I will now tell everyone about Linus that he is infected. But then Daniela attacks him from behind and kills him. After which Merrick and Janella together throw his corpse into the water. The scene then shifts to Fiona, who had a miscarriage. And when Marique goes to see her, Fiona's mother tells him to please not tell Beatrice anything about this. And Merrick agrees to this as well. Here, when Beatrice goes to the lab, she sees a broken tooth lying on the wall, seeing which she understands that this tooth belongs to none other than Jada. So she immediately goes to Merrick and tells him about Judith and says that she has disappeared somewhere and I think you are behind her disappearance. To this Merrick replies very cleverly that I know you cannot harm me because you need me. Hearing this, Beatrice calms down and after some thought, says that she will blame the engineer for Judith's death. With the help of Alisa, she shows some false evidence to people and proves that the engineer was responsible for Judith's death. Next we see Etienne, who has now been made the new in charge of the windmill. When the boss comes to know about this, he goes to Etienne's house in anger and tells him that you purposely gave me the bottle of alcohol so that accident happens to me and you can take my place. To this, Etienne replies no. Now the next day, the engineer's legs are tied and he is thrown into the sea, and Merrick feels very bad seeing this. So he decides to go to Linus and tell him the truth, and then we are shown the story of 15 years ago. Where one day Merrick meets Beatrice working in a supermarket. But he doesn't talk to her much and comes to his lab, where he works with Nurse Laure to create a vaccine. Here Beatrice along with some people takes over the supermarket and then takes over the pharmacy as well. Meanwhile, her reporter Lola records a video of her and tries to prove to the people that Beatrice is the perfect candidate to become the leader of the island. But she also knew very well that Merrick worked in this pharmacy and could get in her way. So Beatrice makes him an offer that he can make any medicine he wants. But he won't stand against her. Merrick agrees with him. But the mayor on the island sends his officers to arrest him. But Beatrice cleverly traps him. The scene then shifts to Merrick's wife, who is making the vaccine on the mainland, when some goons come and kill her. On the other hand, Beatrice asks Lower to keep only 513 people on the island to control its population. At first Lower refuses this because they would have to kill more than half the population. But when Beatrice threatens her, she agrees to do it, and then one by one all the people are injected with the virus, and this way many people are killed. Whereas the reports of some are changed and they are shown as positive and are thrown out of the island. Seeing this, Merrick decides to make a vaccine as soon as possible so that he can tell people the truth about Beatrice. But 15 years had passed since this incident. The scene then shifts to the present where Linus has died and Merrick records his full confession. But Jeaniela comes and shoots the tape because she is a member of Earl's gang. Here Earl now starts his further planning, and with this the series ends here. So friends, how did you like this series? Please let us know by commenting. Like and share the video and subscribe to our channel SRH Recap and press the bell icon so that you don't miss the upcoming videos. See you in the next video. Bye bye, take care.